4 people arrested after Grabo's traffic department has set alight during a mass protest. Judge Mabel Jansen will be on special leave while the Judicial Service Commission probes her comments on black rape culture. Hello and welcome to it. You're watching eNEWS Direct. I'm Duduzile Ramela.
And I'm Sandy Legangose. Good evening.
To comment on any of our stories, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNEWS Direct.
And you can also track our main stories using the following hashtags: Budget Vote 2016 and Grabo Protest.
4 protesters have been arrested for public violence in the Western Cape town of Grabo. A traffic department building was set alight during the protests, and a section of the N2 highway was forced to close. Residents are objecting to their imminent eviction from a newly built informal settlement.
Grabo's traffic department testing center building up in flames. Talk of possible evictions saw hundreds of residents of this informal settlement swarm to the streets. They had erected their shacks on state-owned land just 2 months ago.
People are blockading roads because they have no place to stay. So these people that are invading here, they are the backyard dwellers and they are the scatter camp people. So now when they went to municipality for the services, then the municipality doesn't have enough answers for them.
The land invasion unit is in the process of tearing down all unoccupied shacks.
The national spokesperson of the Department of Public Works, Dumi Mchunu, says the land in question was earmarked for water affairs. He says the shacks were built near an essential water stream on the land. Mchunu adds that the department has applied for an interdict to prevent further shacks from being built on the land and to evict those currently occupying it. But community leaders addressing the residents say they're in the process of engaging with national and provincial government to resolve the crisis. Tim Tongana, Grabo in the Western Cape.
Judge Mabel Jansen has agreed to be placed on special leave. That's pending the outcome of a gross misconduct complaint against her. Advocates for Transformation laid the complaint with the Judicial Service Commission over Facebook posts in which Jansen suggested that rape was part of black culture.
Judge Mabel Jansen argued in Facebook posts that gang rape, rape of babies and murder were part of life for black people. Advocate Vuyani Ngalwana, representing Advocates for Transformation, now wants the judge to be investigated for gross misconduct. But the JSC still needs to decide whether it will investigate before a tribunal can be established to decide whether there are grounds for Jansen's impeachment.
If such a recommendation is that there is a possible impeachment at stake, and the Judicial Service Commission accepts that, the matter is then referred to Parliament, where 75% of the members of Parliament must then agree before a judge can be impeached.
There are many people who say that on the basis of what this judge said, she should be immediately suspended, but is that even a possibility, and who actually can suspend her?
The decision to be made then is by the President as to whether to suspend or not, pending the conclusion of the hearing of the tribunal.
Jansen has agreed to be placed on special leave by Justice Minister Michael Masuta. She'll be paid but won't be on the bench. There's a further complication. All JSC disciplinary tribunals are on hold as Constitutional Court Justices Chris Jafta and Besan Kabinde fight to not testify against Cape High Court Judge President John Hlophe. Hlophe is under investigation for allegedly seeking to influence Jafta and Nkabinde to make rulings in favor of President Jacob Zuma. Until that case is resolved, the JSC cannot investigate judicial misconduct. Karen Moore, Johannesburg.
The Basic Education Department is calling for the harshest punishment for those who burnt schools in Vuwani, Limpopo. 11 suspects have been charged with arson relating to the razing of the schools. The department delivered its 2016 budget to Parliament today.
places of learning now in ruins. 24 schools have been vandalized and 20 burnt to the ground. Dozens of others have been shut as a precaution, meaning more than 50,000 children are without schooling. And with no end of the community unrest in sight, it's unclear when schools will reopen.
Obviously this week I don't expect schooling to take place in Vuwani, and I don't know when next are we going to have school. So it is a major concern. But I can also say that we've been meeting as the sector with our officials to say as soon as things stabilize, what is going to be a plan to claw back what we've lost in terms of time.
Motshekga says the cost of rebuilding schools will run into millions, a bill government was not ready to foot, and it certainly isn't included in a 21 billion rand budget she presented to Parliament.
It doesn't cost us less than 30 million to build a full school. And one of the things, as I said, when I was visiting that area, some schools have to be merged because you can't build 30 million here, 30 million here, 30 million there. So the $500 million was estimated at, we're saying if we've lost 25 schools and the cost of one school is 30 million, this is what it will come to. So it could be less, it could be, I expect it to be less, especially if we consolidate.
The department is now calling on the criminal justice system to be tough on those arrested for arson. This while Cabinet mulls over legislation to make the vandalism of schools and other public facilities a serious offence.
Magistrates have the discretion, and we do believe that the judiciary must exercise that discretion realistically, given the impact and the negative impact of these acts of arson and malicious damage to property. And in that way there it would act as a deterrent.
The Education Department says if government can't afford to pay for new schools, it may ask the private sector to come on board. Lester Kivat, Parliament.
A prime suspect linked to several murders at the notorious Glebelands hostel in Durban is due to appear in court soon. The 27-year-old is believed to be behind 3 murders and 6 attempted murders at the hostel this year. This is believed to be a major breakthrough in clamping down on rampant violence at the hostel.
The suspect's arrest follows an intelligence-driven operation at the hostel blocks 51 and 56 involving members of the National Intervention Unit, and officers are hoping it will lead to more arrests.
Detectives believe he's a key figure behind 3 murders which were carried out in just over 24 hours in March. In the first incident, a 48-year-old woman was shot and killed while having drinks with friends. Later that day, a man was found dead with multiple wounds. Hours later, a group of men was shot at, claiming the life of a 28-year-old man. KwaZulu-Natal police believe this arrest is just the start.
We can say that it is a breakthrough in these attacks that are happening at the Cleveland hostel. Remember, our National Intervention Unit made this arrest on Sunday after they received information about this man, and then they went to his house where he stays. As a result, he was then arrested.
KwaZulu-Natal's Community Safety Department, which has taken heat for not doing enough to ensure safety at the hostel, says officials are working towards reigniting conflict talks among residents.
KwaZulu-Natal police say the suspect will appear in the Umlazi Magistrates Court soon. He's currently being held in custody as preparations for an identity parade are finalized. Judith Subin, Durban.
World News now, and police in Germany are investigating a possible Islamist connection in a deadly knife attack at a train station near Munich. The 27-year-old suspect stabbed 4 commuters early this morning. 1 died of his wounds in hospital. Witnesses say the suspect shouted "God is great" in Arabic during the attack, but the motive is still unclear. Maverick anti-crime politician Rodrigo Digong Duterte has won the Philippine presidential election. The official result has not yet been declared, but his rivals have already withdrawn. Duterte has credited his success to his tough stance on law and order. The former mayor was nicknamed the Punisher after crushing crime in the once lawless town of Davao. And in Kenya, riot police have turned on a protest organized by opposition leaders. The protesters are accusing the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission of corruption and bias. Police used water cannons and tear gas when some protesters started throwing stones. No injuries were reported.
Time now to check in with Duduzile to see what people are speaking about on social media.
Thank you so much, Sandile. And what is the health budget that trended today? Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi saying his department will launch a program to keep young women away from so-called sugar daddies in June. The 3-year campaign will focus on girls and young women in the age group of 15 and 24, as well as the men who are infecting and impregnating them. We end off with Lesotho. The Home Affairs Department is calling on Lesotho nationals in South Africa to apply for special permits to stay legally. The permit is a special dispensation for Lesotho nationals living, working and running businesses in South Africa. Minister Malusi Kigaba says over 5,460 nationals have applied so far, and the deadline is the 30th of June. Remember, we do love to hear from you. You can of course check us out on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNEWS Direct, or you can head on over to our website. That's enca.com/direct. Your business news after the break, as well as your weather. Money Matters now, and Africa's largest pension fund investment firm lost over 100 billion rand late last year. This happened when President Jacob Zuma fired former Finance Minister Nhlanhla Nene in December. The Public Investment Corporation says the government employees pension fund lost at least 95 billion rand. The Unemployment Insurance Fund saw 7 billion rand disappear, while the Compensation Fund was down 3 billion. But recovery since last year. And with that, let's see how the markets performed today. Let's check in with the Weather Center now. Here's Jill Guy.
Welcome to the Weather Center. Here on our most recent satellite picture, we are seeing storm clouds that brought us isolated scattered thunder showers on Tuesday over the central area, spreading into southeastern South Africa. We also had a line of fleeting thunder showers racing across the Gauteng province. Further west, we are looking at this cold front, which is having its eyes set for western South Africa. Now, Wednesday is going to see up to a 40% chance of thunder showers over Mpumalanga, KwaZulu-Natal, and the eastern areas of the Free State. Partly cloud over northern South Africa, mostly sunny for the rest of South Africa, but we're expecting grey skies once again along the southwest coastline. So isolated thunder showers are forecast for KwaZulu-Natal with warm to hot temperatures in most areas. It's going to be mostly sunny, however, for Durban and Port Shepstone. Mostly clear skies are also forecast across the Eastern Cape with mild to warm afternoon temperatures. It's going to be partly cloudy for much of the Western Cape with afternoon temperatures warming up a touch, and Cape Town managing a high of around 22 degrees. Warm to hot afternoon temperatures are forecast across much of the Northern Cape with clear skies. It's going to be cooler, however, for Sutherland, and overnight temperatures will drop to below freezing. We are expecting thunder showers in the Free State around Bethlehem and Harrismith. Bloemfontein is going to be mostly sunny with a high of around 21 degrees. Mostly clear skies are also forecast across the northwest, Mahikeng, Zeerust and Rustenburg, peaking at around 25 degrees. We are expecting similar weather across the Limpopo province, highs around 24 for Tzaneen and Polokwane. Mpumalanga is going to see isolated thunder showers, a warm 26 for the high in Mbombela. Gauteng is going to get away with partly cloudy skies in most areas. Pretoria warming to around 25 degrees. We are expecting unsettled weather on Thursday for the western parts of South Africa. Then on Friday, the thunderstorms are going to spread into the eastern areas.
Thank you, Joel. After the break, an auction of artworks influenced by the experiences of former freedom fighter and artist Pitika Ntuli. Now, some art pieces created by former freedom fighter and renowned artist Professor Pitika Ntuli are going on sale.
They are indeed. Ntuli is an established contemporary African artist whose work has been exhibited the world over.
The artworks will be auctioned in Johannesburg.
Words are not Professor Pitika Ntuli's only craft. His other love is art. 4 of his pieces will be auctioned for the first time in South Africa this week.
Well, here we've got shaka, it's metal, it's granite, it's horn, something organic, something artificial, all of them actually coexisting in the creation or the memory of this history.
Some of these life-sized sculptures are influenced by his experiences and activism in the struggle against apartheid.
When you turn around and you look, you're going to find that this guy and this one are now sharing an eye. They are comrades. We train together militarily. We go up on our mission. One of us get arrested. They turn that person. The person becomes an askari.
Ntuli's work has been exhibited throughout South Africa, Europe and Cuba, and it's presented in raw materials of bone, wood and stone, rather than bronze casting.
This depicts our period of home and exile.
After 32 years in exile, Ntuli continues to derive inspiration from life experiences. Ntuli's work will go under the hammer as part of the Stephen Wilson Company collectibles auction on Tuesday and Wednesday. Sikelelwa Mdingi, Johannesburg.
A reminder of the day's top stories before we say goodbye. 4 arrested after Grabouw's traffic department is set alight during a mass protest. Judge Mabel Jansen will be on special leave while the Judicial Service Commission probes her comments on black rape culture. News Direct Team.
It is indeed your favorite Rhythm City is up next. We're back tomorrow.
Cheers.